we started. You have to put in the slideshow.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Welcome every one of you. ISKCON Chennai welcomes each and every one of you for the Sunday evening program. You know, we've all discussed in the last week about the advent of Srimad Bhagavatam and started the story of Narada Muni. So today we will be discussing the life of Narada Muni and about his previous lifetime, and that will be the topic of today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tattva Jayamudire Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vacharam, pangum langayate girim, yatripadam amade, Shri Gurum Dinatarinam, Shri Paramananda Madhavam, Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Harihi Om Tat Sat. So last week Prabhu beautifully explained about the advent of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then where we touched upon the Guru appears when a disciple is ready. So here we see the picture of Narada Muni, and in the hermitage of Vyasadeva. And Vyasadeva, as we discussed last week, after compiling the 4 Vedas and all the Upanishads, all the Vedic literatures, he was still in his morose condition. And then in that situation, Narada Muni makes his appearance, and then he clarifies to him that whatever you have written so far is not helping the living entities, the human beings, to come back to the spiritual world, the Sanatana Dham. So it is your utmost responsibility to glorify Lord Sri Hari and bring about a revolution in the lives of the conditioned living entities of the cycle of birth, death, old age, disease, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Bring them to their original home, back to Garden. So you have to write about the glorification of Lord Hari, the Srimad Bhagavatam, by which would help them to come back to the spiritual world. So this is the meeting of Narada with Vyasadeva, because we all know the human form of life is very, very rare. Bhagavatam says, Hrideham Adhyam Sulabham Sudurlabham Plavam Sukalpam Guru Karnadaram Mayanukulena Nabasvateritam Puman Bhavadim Nataretsa Atmaha. This human form, Sudurlabham, very, very rare. Out of 4,600,000, 84 lakhs of species, this human form is very, very rare. This, though it is rare, it is also compared to a boat. It's not a normal boat. It's a perfectly constructed boat. The boat is constructed for what purpose? To cross the river, cross the ocean. So that's the purpose of the river. But this human form of boat is constructed in a way that one can cross over the ocean of cycle of birth and death, the enzymes of cycle of birth and death. So that's the perfection, that's the purpose of the human form of boat. And any boat has to have a captain. The captain is the spiritual master. So with the help, so we need to have an expert captain. So the spiritual master is the expert captain. And for a boat to sail, we also need favorable winds. And what are those favorable winds? Is what we are discussing now. The favorable winds are the granthas like Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So we need a perfectly constructed boat. First thing we should understand that we are in an ocean. This is a miserable ocean where we have to cross, and then we need a perfect boat which is already given by the mercy of the Lord, which is the human form of life. And then we need favorable winds, which is Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, for which also we have got access now. I'm sure most of you who have been attending these programs, we have had a Gita Mahatmya course for a while. Then we have had a Bhagavad Gita course. Then we have just started the Srimad Bhagavatam, life lessons from Srimad Bhagavatam. So all these things are there. Now, perfectly constructed boat is there. We have favorable winds are there. The captain, who is the captain for us? We are all under the shelter of the founder Acharya of ISKCON, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He's the captain of the ship. And he is assuring us he will take us back home, back to Garden, as long as we don't jump out of the ship. Not jumping out of the ship means just be on the boat. Chant the holy names. I think most of us have undertaken to chant at least one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day. And then we are also regularly, at least once or twice a week, we are coming on this class online. And then maybe post-COVID, we can also come one-to-one personally. So these are the opportunities to come and discuss Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So all these facilities are given to us. So this human form has to be utilized properly. And that's the message where here Narada Muni is telling Vyasadeva that you give Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the summum bonum of all the Vedic literatures. And then by taking shelter of this Bhagavatam, and one has to study it. Like here, Vyasadeva is being guided by Narada. Narada was guided by Brahma. Brahma was given by Krishna, the Supreme Lord himself. And then if you see from Vyasadeva down, we have Sukadeva Goswami. From Vyasadeva, we have Madhvacharya. Then we have in the disciplic succession comes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, appeared as a devotee to teach us how a devotee should act. Because as Krishna, he came and then instructed us. He only said as Krishna, he said, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Praja Ham Tam Sarva Papebhyo Moksheshyam Nasya. Surrender. But how to surrender? He himself came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a devotee of the Lord, and he practically demonstrated how one can surrender. The primary process of which in this age of Kali is chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then reading Srimad Bhagavatam, associating with Vaishnavas. So that's the purpose is here. This Narada Muni is enlightening Vyasadeva here. And then we see here Lord Brahma. Of course, Narada Muni is the father and spiritual master is Lord Brahma. Narada Muni came from the mind of Lord Brahma, and we know Lord Brahma came from the lotus which emanated from the Nabi, which is from the navel of Garbhodakasai Vishnu. So these appearances are transcendental, not like a mundane birth that a normal human being takes. These are all spiritual. Krishna says in Gita 4th chapter, Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tatpataha yaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. Janma karma chame divyam, which means divyam means our birth and our activities are not divyam, which divyam means transcendental. Our activities, our birth and all are all material. Whereas the Lord's appearance and pure devotees like Narada here we see it's all transcendental appearance and their activities are transcendental. Like Krishna is son of Vasudeva. Here Narada is Brahma, Narada is son of Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma is both the spiritual master and father of Narada Muni. So when Vyasadeva was met by Narada Muni, he was relating his previous life in the previous millennium as a son of a maid servant. We see a couple of pictures on the screen here. One screen showing a hut where a lady is there with his son, who is Narada in this, who is Narada now. So she is a very poor lady financially and no husband. And then in another screen, we see a Bhakti Vedantas. Bhakti Vedantas means Krishna in Gita says, Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto mattah smriti jnanam apohanam cha vedesya sarvairahameva vedyo vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto. He is saying, I am seated in everyone's heart. From me comes remembrance and forgetfulness. Vedesya sarvair ahameva vedyo. He says, I am the compiler of the Vedas. And through the Vedas, I am to be known. The purpose of Veda is to know him. We have huge, vast literatures all over the world. But what is the essence of all these literatures? Vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Man Prapatyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Out of, after so many millions and trillions of birth, one comes to understand that everything is Lord Vasudeva. Vasudeva is son of Vasudeva, who is Krishna. To come to that point is very, very rare. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vedi tattvataha. The ultimate perfection is what? To know Krishna as our Father, Mother, Eternal Master. To come to that point, Manushyanam sahasreshu, hardly one comes to know that. So we, or those who are assembled today who are watching this program, are all very, very fortunate souls. This is happening by the causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada, that we are all together. By his mercy, we are all together today. And then we are trying to understand the position of our relationship with Jivera Surupohai Nityera Krishnadas. We are all servant of Krishna. So if we act in that position, we will always be happy. Because we are thinking otherwise, with so many upadhi means designations. We think that I am this, I am that, I am American, I am Japanese, I am Indian, I am Tamilian, I am Iyer, I am Iyengar, I am this, I am that, I am black, I am white. All this identification is the cause of all our problems. But our origin, there is only one designation for a living entity. The living entity is the Jivera Swarupa, Krishna Nitya, the servant of Krishna. And we should, that's our constitutional position. And all our activities should primarily be as a servant of Krishna. So here, this young boy, poor maidservant son, during the 4 months of Chaturmasya. Chaturmasya is a period which we are going through now, which is called a rainy season. It is coming to an end in about less than a week. The last 4 months have been called a rainy season. So during this rainy season, these saints do not travel. Otherwise, sadhus always travel. Why do they travel? They travel to the householder's house in order to give them spiritual knowledge. It is not that they want something till they come to our house. Whenever sadhu, a true sadhu comes, unfortunately in today's situation we have to use the term true sadhu because there are also other sadhus. So we have to invite true sadhus to our house. When they come to our house, it is not that they have come there to take away something from us. They have come to our house so that we are enlightened our relationship with God. And who are we? We are not this body, we are a spirit soul, we are a servant of God. And Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana. Sambandha is to establish our relationship with God, Krishna, Abhideya, and what is the process by which I can attain him? Prayojana is to attain him. Why we have to attain him? As long as we don't attain him, we will continue to live in this material world, which Krishna beautifully calls in Bhagavad Gita as Dukkha Alayam and Asashvatam. Dukkha Alayam means, we understand, Alayam means a place, and Dukkha means full of miseries. So who wants to live in a house which is full of miseries? And Asashvatam means what? It is, Sashvatam means permanent, Asashvatam means non-permanent. So why do we want to live? See, if, assuming that most of us or some of us have a rented house, we know the pain that we have to go through with the house owners. But if we have our own house, even in this material world, we are happy, That's just to understand and say. But similarly, if we have a house, our original house is the house of the Lord, Vaikuntha, Goloka. So we are, that's our original house back home. That's our real home. But because we wanted to enjoy independent of Krishna, we have been given a place, like, we give a general example. Those who are not willing to abide by the laws of the state, they are given a position called jail. Durga is another meaning is jail. So this material world is also called a fort, jail, because this is a place created by the Lord for those who does not want to obey the directions or who don't have affection and who do not want to abide by the Lord's law. That's why we are here. Similar to what people who don't listen to the abide by the laws of the state are put in the jail. Similarly, we are put in this place. So these sadhus come to our place only to enlighten us, our constitutional position, and make all the facility possible by them to make us more and more closer to God and to make us understand that we are not this body. This is the purpose why we see Narada is enlightening Vyasadeva for all of us. It's not for Vyasadeva. Through Vyasadeva, he is enlightening all of us. So here this young boy in his previous life, so Narada in his previous life, he is getting sadhu sangha. What is sadhu sangha? Sadhu sangha is that sadhu sange sarva sastra kohe. Lava matra sadhu sange sarva siddhi hoye. Siddhi means perfection. What is the perfection? Perfection is not to rot in the 8,400,000 species of life. We can definitely appreciate. Fortunately, we are in this human body in this lifetime, but we have been going in and around in the cycle of birth and death in so many bodies, depending on our desires. If I want to eat meat, I can get a body of a tiger in my next lifetime. And if I have some other desire, I can eat fish or I can become a fish myself. I'll become a fish myself. And if I'm too much attached to sugar, I can become an ant. So depending on our desires, we should understand the body that I have today is due to my own desire that I've got this body. So we have to dovetail all our desire. We should align our desire in alignment with the desire of God, by which we can always be happy in the spiritual world. That is called Sanatana Dham, eternal place where there is no suffering. There is nothing called birth. There is nothing called death. None of us want to die. That is what Hiranyakashipu tried his best. We don't want to die. And we don't want old age. Who wants old age? We don't want disease. Now, most of us are very, very fearful of this present coronavirus. But if we go to our home, which is the spiritual world, which is Goloka, there is nothing called old age or disease or birth or death. It's all suffering in this material world. And that is what Krishna is calling us for. This program is for inviting all of us so that these will facilitate us to understand our real nature, real constitutional position. And we can go to the spiritual world where we can be eternally happy. It is not for suffering. On the contrast, we want to enjoy here and we actually suffer here. Actually, Prahlad Maharaj says, as long as we sukaya dakka mokshaya sankalpaiya karminaha sadapnoti anihaya dukkam anihayaha sukhavataha. We think we want happiness and we make endeavors, but actually we are happy. The moment we make a step towards happiness, there starts the distress. So this is why the sadhu sangha is important. What we are having now is also called the sadhu sangha. Until 6 months back, we were having the fortune of coming together personally, but due to the current COVID situation, we are coming online, and the Lord is very, very merciful. Everything that has its utility in the service of the Lord. When someone invented Zoom, that anybody thought that we will be able to associate on Zoom or YouTube, but even through YouTube, we are able to associate. So the devotee of the Lord knows that everything can be connected in the Lord's service, and they will use everything in the Lord's service, and that's what we are doing. This is called Sadhu Sangha. That to discuss the message of Srimad Bhagavatham is Sadhu Sangha. So when the small boy had the association of these Bhakti Vedantas during those 4 months in the Chaturmasya period, he had the opportunity to do some menial service, and he also, with the permission of those Bhakti Vedantas. Bhakti Vedantas, the Bhakti means devotion to Krishna. Nothing else is called Bhakti. Bhakti to the devotion to Krishna is called Bhakti, and that will solve all our material, mental, psychological, all problems. Just doing by bhakti, all problems of our life will be solved. But that's only a byproduct. Problem solving is only a byproduct. Ultimately, we will go to the eternal dham to be with Krishna. Who doesn't want to be with Krishna where there is eternally joyful pastimes going on, to be with Krishna on picnic every day? So who doesn't want it? All of us want it. So from these Bhakti Vedantas, they were very, very kind to this boy. It's here it is said he was uneducated. But if someone becomes sincere, that sincerity and service to the saints like Bhakti Vedantas, we will get complete mercy. It is not necessary that one has to be educated. Yasya deve parabhaktir yata deve tata guru tasyate hi katita hi artaha prakashante mahatmanaha. Because depending on the attitude of a disciple, the spiritual master is able to transfer all the transcendental knowledge, which necessarily does not require a material education. So, and then this boy was doing some menial service, cleaning service to these Bhakti Vedantas, and he was fortunate to get the remnants of their foodstuff. It's actually, we should understand, it's very, very powerful. We all eat every day. What we eat is called papam. It's described in Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 3, that whatever we are eating is called papam. Whereas when we offer it to Krishna and take, it is called sadam, becomes prasadam. Prasadam means mercy of the Lord. And then the same prasadam, after having taken by the devotees of the Lord, and if we get it, it is very, very special. So we should aspire for such prasadam. Here this boy is asking all the Bhakti Vedantas, can I get whatever is left over, can I have it? So when you take that, generally you say, we understand that according to from whom we eat, from where we eat, our consciousness also, you are what you eat actually. Our consciousness changes. So we should always be very, very careful in what we eat. If we eat that which is offered to Krishna and take it, we are freed from all sinful reactions. Not only that, we are also getting special mercy of the Lord. We are getting the special mercy, and by getting the special mercy, we will advance spiritually and we become purified. And this is what the small boy is doing, taking the remnants of the footsteps of the Bhakti Vedantas. And here it is said, as a young boy, generally we know young boys like to play and then always be mischievous, be naughty. But when the small boy had the opportunity to associate with this Bhakti Vedantas, he was not very much interested in sports. He was not very naughty. He was not naughty, and he did not speak more than what is actually needed. This is actually one quality of a devotee. He will speak what is required. What is required? In fact, it is said, Krishna says, how does a devotee speak? He says, Anudvega Karambakyam Satyam Priyam Hitam Chayat Swadhyaya Abhyasanam Chi Eva Vanmayam Tapavachyate. How does the austerity of speech is consist speaking about truthful, beneficial, pleasing, and not agitating others. This is the way to speak. But not only that, always reciting Bhagavad Gita, which is song of God, and Srimad Bhagavatham, song about God. This is how one should speak, and this is the quality that Narada, as a young boy, he had these qualities. And he became purified in heart, and at that time, the very nature of the transcendentalists became attractive to him. And his taste for hearing of the personality of God, say Krishna, at every step. His taste increased because they were discussing what does Bhakti Vedantas do. Bhakti Vedantas are nothing but Machitta, Madgata Pranaha, Bodhayantaha Parasparam, Katayantascha Mam Nityam, Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. Machitta, Madgata Pranaha. Mat Chitta means, what is the Chitta? What is the consciousness? Chitta is about Krishna. Madgata Pranaha, their life itself, life air itself is Krishna. Bodhayantaha Parasparam. They also discuss. We all discuss Gramya Katha. I mean, we talk about city talks and village talks. But what does the devotees talk? Bodhayantaha Parasparam. Hey, I heard that Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill when he was 7 years old. How is it? And I also heard he danced on the most skating boat, so skating hoods of Kaliya. So these are the discussion, the transcendental activities of Krishna. And no, he killed a demon like Putana when he was just 2-3 months old. How is it? These are the katha. Because these are all nothing to do with mundane world. When we discuss about Krishna, we are also raising above the 3 modes of Rajas, Tamas and Sattva and come to a mode called transcendental mode. This is beyond the material Sattva. It is called transcendental mode. When we come to that mode, we are ever happy. I mean, all of us, what's our ultimate desire? We all want to be happy. That happiness comes only when we are linked with Krishna. Always. So, when this boy had an opportunity to associate with sadhus, he developed a gentle behavior. All the sins were eradicated. His sinful tendencies were eradicated. He could understand who is God, who is Krishna. What's my relationship with him? What are all the energies of the Lord? And who is the creator, who is the maintainer, who is the annihilator, and then how can I go back to him? These are the knowledge by serving these Bhakti Vedantas, by hearing from them, by serving them, menial service, by eating the remnants of their food. This boy became enlightened. So the best remedial measure for removing all troubles and miseries is to dedicate one's activities to the service of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. We are all trying to make so many endeavors, so many efforts to solve all our problems. But we have a problem because we have basically an identity crisis. We identify basically ourselves as the body and in relation to the body. But actually, we are beyond the body. We are a spirit soul, having got this body in this lifetime. And this body is also, this soul is meant to serve Krishna, and the soul is meant to use this body also in the service of Krishna. By doing all our activities in the service of the Lord, all the troubles and miseries are automatically removed. We'll be seeing some nice stories in a little while, but that's the best thing about glories of Sri Krishna and the glories of the devotees of the Lord. So the remedy is not material solutions. It's only the spiritual solutions. Without the mercy of the Lord, a boat cannot save a drowning man. A doctor cannot save a patient. Or a parent cannot save the children. We can see so many elders are living, but their children are gone. Why they are not able to save? Because without the mercy of Krishna, they cannot be saved. Similarly, we have also seen this, the example of the boat which is given now. They built a boat, Titanic. It sank actually. And similarly, doctors also say we can do the treatment according to our capacity. Ultimately, without the sanction of the Lord, a patient cannot be saved. So the best remedial measure is to depend on Krishna. And again, for the small boy, he's a small boy. During the 4 months, he had the opportunity, but he further had more test. He didn't have a father already, and he was living in a poor condition. At that time, what happened? One evening, when her mother went to milk the cow, she was bitten by a snake. As a result, she died. And this 5-year, 6-year-old boy, he did not have anyone else to protect. Normally, in any condition, a normal man, what would he do? He would start cursing, or he would start becoming atheist also, to say that, no, I came in contact with the sadhus, as a result, my mother passed away. So there is no existence of God. Or we may have our own so many conclusions. But in the eyes of Narada, because of the association of these saintly personalities, because of his purity of his heart, he could see that there is the Lord's hand is there, and Lord has got something very good for my future, and that's why such thing is happening to me. Therefore, as they do in those days, he started walking towards north. He was walking towards north through the dense, dark forests and huge mountains, in order to go to Himalayas, where that's where they take shelter of. And because of his devotion, he did not have fear as he was traveling. You can imagine, can we go to a small, even why to speak of forest, even in the city, we don't want to go alone in the midnight. But he was just throughout day and night, he was just traveling in the dense, dark forest, and he did not have any fear, because he knew that he was a soul and his master is Sri Krishna, and his service is to keep rendering service to Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Apannaha Shamshidin Goram Yannama Vipasho Granan Tataha Sadhyo Bhuvicheti Yadviveti Swayam Bayam. There is actually a personification in charge for all fears, throughout the day and night, throughout our lives, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the years. We have some fear or the other. For this, there is one personality comes, Bhaya personified. Even that Bhaya personification becomes fearful of the holy name Krishna. So Narada was constantly chanting the name of Krishna, and he did not have any fear. And one day, under the tree, a banyan tree, he was seated, and it was just uninhabited forest, and he began to meditate on the Lord. As he was meditating on the Lord, within the heart, the Lord made actual his appearance, and he spoke to him, my dear boy, and you are very, very fortunate. You have taken to the path of devotion service. Please continue this path. As you continue the path, you will get purified. You will not be able to see me anymore. But at the end of this lifetime, you will come back, and then you can continue. You can come back to me, and you can continue your devotional service, and you can propagate devotional service and spread the devotional service all over the creation. And that's the benediction the Lord gave it to Narada in his previous life as a small boy. And then here we say, Satsevaya Dirgayapi Jata Mahedrita Mati Hitvadyam Nimam Lokam Ganta Machanatamasi. By service of the absolute truth, even for a few days, a devotee attains firm and fixed intelligence in me. By service of the absolute truth. What is that by service of the absolute truth? The absolute truth is none other than Krishna. Even for a few days, the wonderful assembled persons, assembled devotees, they've been assembled for quite some few days in hearing so many scriptures from Srila Prabhupada's representatives. So by this way, a devotee attains firm and fixed intelligence in Krishna. Consequently, he goes on to become my associate in the transcendental world after giving up the present deplorable material worlds. So by doing that, so what we should do, we don't have a direct access to the absolute truth. We don't have access to the Krishna directly, but we have access to Krishna in the form of his holy name. Nama Chintamani Krishna, no. Kalikale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. He has appeared in the form of his holy name. So, by taking shelter of the holy name, Kalikale Krishna Avatar, Nama Hoite Hoya Sarva Jagat Nishtara. What happens? By taking shelter of the holy name, this holy name alone, if you take up sincerely, this holy name has the potency to take us back to the spiritual world. And this is one service. And the other service is what we are doing right now, which you can do even otherwise. What is the service? Hearing and reading Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of devotees. And we saw the boy serving menial service to the Bhakti Vedanta. So whenever we have an opportunity in whatever way, we may not be able to do any personal service now, but even such services are wonderful. Even otherwise, online services, whatever, there are unlimited services available to propagate Krishna consciousness. So we should be able to do such services by the guidance of the representatives of Krishna. So we have our own ideas, but the service should be rendered as guided by the representatives of Krishna, by which we will be able to go back to the attain our transcendental world, go back to the spiritual world after giving up this present material body. So this boy, after having darshan of the Lord underneath the tree, he started chanting, he started to continuously singing and dancing. So here it is beautifully said, Namani anantasya hatatrupapatam guhyani bhadrani kritani chasmaran gamparyatam tushtamanagadaspruha kalam pratiksham bimado vimatsaraha. This boy is saying, thus I began chanting the holy name and fame of the Lord by repeated recitation. Chanting the holy names, we repeatedly stress, because in this age of Kali Yuga, the simplest and easiest way to attain the mercy of the Lord is to chant his holy names. Namna makari bahuda nijasharva shaktihi tatrarpita niyamitaha smaranena kalaha etadrishim tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaivam yidrisham ihajani nanuragaha. The Lord has hundreds and millions of names. Just by chanting these names, one can be attain the spiritual abode of Krishna. So it is also said, Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasavigraha Purna Shuddho Nityamakto Abhinatvam Nama Navino. There is no difference. When Draupadi called, she had 5 husbands. Generally, there is only one husband. In the case of Draupadi, she had 5 husbands, and each one is the Guinness World Record in archery, in Gada fighting, or in so many ways. But none of them could protect. What protected Draupadi? What protected Draupadi is not Krishna. What protected Draupadi is the name of Krishna. Nama is more powerful than Krishna in one sense. Like Lord Rama, once he just picked up a rock along with the monkeys and put it on to build the Setu Bandh. But his rock alone drowned in the ocean. And he was seeing, hope nobody has seen. But Hanuman saw it and said, Ramachandraji, I have seen it. What did you see? I saw that your rock went down. Then he asked, how did it went down? Everybody is putting it's floating. But in my case, it's not floating. Why it's not floating? Hanuman said, my dear Ramchandra, please forgive my offense. Please understand that your name is more powerful than yourself. Which means all the monkeys were writing the name Ram, Ram, Ram and putting it. And then that was so wonderful. All the bridge was built. But when Rama put it, it actually drowned in the ocean. So that is to glorify the holy name of the Lord. So that is the power of the name that we have. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in this age of Kali Yuga, Krishna himself came. And what did he do? He came and gave the Yuga Dharma. What is the Yuga Dharma? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. He just wanted us to chant this holy names. Just by chanting these holy names, we will advance spiritually, and this holy name has the potency to take us back home, back to the spiritual world. So he's saying here, okay, chanting, is it just once? No, chanting the holy name and fame of the Lord by repeated recitation. So this is what we should understand. When we are not reciting the holy name, when we are not connected with the Lord, we are connected with Maya. So we have to be very, very careful. Always we should constantly remember about the Lord. Because in the scripture there are only two rules. What are the rules? Smartavya Sadatam Vishnu, Vismartavya na Jatu Chet. Smartavya Sadatam Vishnu means what? Always remember Krishna. Vismartavya na Jatu Chet means what? Never forget Krishna. So if you always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna, there are no other rules. I mean, every other rule is only a subservient to the primary rule. And the primary rule is remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. And here it is said holy name and fame. So how you don't know the fame of the Lord? What is the fame of the Lord? The fame of the Lord is there in Srimad Bhagavatham. The fame of the Lord is there in Bhagavad Gita. And if we repeatedly read, hear this on a regular basis, ignoring all the formalities of the material world, such chanting and remembering of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are benedictory. We cannot imagine the benedictions that can be awarded to us. We are all thinking those days people used to do in the previous yugas, Ashwamedha Yajna, Rajasuya Yajna. This holy name is no less powerful. This can give you much more than that. That is the power the name of the Lord is. Like, recently, there was a, this was related to me by one of the exalted Sri Vaishnava preacher. He was saying that he was traveling, but somehow or the other, he was caught by a police. And then when he was caught by the police, this preacher was going for a preaching program. Somehow he didn't have a license or something. And then he's saying, somehow, no, I don't have it. But if you so desire, I can just call up this person. And then he just said one of the name of the officials in the department. Immediately the police said, no, don't worry, you don't have to call him, you can just go. If that is the case with the material world, with the normal thing, what to speak of the Lord's holy names? They can give us benedictions that we cannot imagine. It can give us benediction which is actually beneficial for us. What we desire and what is needed are generally two different things, right? What is we generally we don't know actually what is good for us. Sometimes the child does not know. The child thinks that eating a lot of chocolates is very, very happy for him. But the parent knows that too much of chocolate is also harmful for the tooth and for the hair. So similarly, whatever is beneficial for us will automatically given by the Lord, because somehow he is the actual benefit, he is the actual well-wisher. What is the verse? Yeah. He's the actual well-wisher. He knows what is good for us and he will give us all benedictions. And that even he does not have to give. If we take shelter of his holy names, the holy name has all the potency to give us all those benedictions. So he's saying, I traveled all over the earth, fully satisfied, humble and non-envious. This is one quality which is required by all of us, being humble, because this humility and being unenvious or non-envious is the foremost qualification a devotee must have. Like when Duryodhana and Arjuna went to meet Krishna to take his help for the Mahabharata war, and another occasion. I think Dronacharya said he wanted both Arjuna and Duryodhana. He said to Duryodhana, find someone who is superior to you, who is better than you, and called Arjuna, find someone who is inferior to you. Both of them went on a tour for long days, came back, and Duryodhana said, I cannot find anyone superior to me. I am the superiormost. And what did Arjuna say? I cannot find anyone who is more inferior than me. So that's the humility. A devotee is always feeling humble. He feels that everyone else is better than me. I mean, that's the spiritual world because it's contradictory to the material world. Similarly, being non-envious is an important quality. Actually, if we are not envious, if somebody is doing good, if we appreciate that activity of the others, actually the Lord will be more pleased with us than the person who is actually doing that good. So that's the what do you call the spiritual world. And the spiritual world, that is how it is perceived. I mean, we all see that I want to come first, we are thinking. But in the spiritual world, we want to make everybody else in the front. And that is more pleasing to the Lord, and that gives us more benediction. So these are some of the qualities just by chanting the holy names of Lord. And then he gets in a spiritual, having been awarded a transcendental body befitting and associated with the person of God, I quit the body made of 5 material elements and thus acquired fruitive results of work, karma, fruitive results of work stopped. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.6.28. So when we attain spiritual body, we are becoming free from Adi Atmik, the sufferings by our own mind and body, Adi Bhautik by other living entities, Adi Devik by the natural calamities, because we are going to the spiritual world. And we are becoming free from fruitive work, fruitive results of work. Means what? If I do good, I have to enjoy punya in the heavenly planet. If I do some papa, I go to Yamadharmaloka. I mean, wherever Yamadharmaraja directs me for the kind of sin that I do. There are so many hellish planets. So depending on that, we'll keep cycling here and there, here and there, here and there. But once you get a transcendental body, we are becoming free from that. So after getting this body, what does Narada Muni do? He does not require a passport. He does not require a visa. He does not require a. He doesn't have to worry whether it is a quarantine or non-quarantine. Nothing. He can travel any part of the world. Actually, when we are talking about Narada Muni, if he's actually pleased with us, he will actually be here. Of course, we cannot see him, but he is such an amazing personality. His compassion, his paradukkaduki, he would like to see and give us all of us nice benedictions. So with the transcendental sound in his veena, which was given to him by Lord Krishna. So here we see he has got a veena, and that's given as a gift by Krishna. And what is he using it for? He is just playing it. Narada Muni Bhajayiti Ma Radhika Ramana. He is just chanting the names of Radha and Krishna and then because that vibration is the potency to purify the entire atmosphere. That's the power of the holy name. And that's what he is doing. So, and then we see here that Narada Muni gave this science to Vyasa. Vyasa gave it to Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami comes in Parampara. It came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It came to Srila Prabhupada, and it is coming to all of us. So this science is coming in the Parampara. It's called Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. The Sampradaya is called Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. There are actually 4 Sampradayas, one coming from Lakshmi, one coming from Brahma, one coming from Sanat Kumaras, and one coming from Lord Shiva. All this, and we are coming in Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. And we are fortunate if we get in the Parampara system, and that has the potency. Because Krishna says in Gita, what does he say? Evam Parampara Pratam Yamum Rajashriyo Viduhu Sakalene Hemota Yoganashta Imam Vivashati Yogam Proktavan Ahamavim Vivashwan Manave Praha Manu Ishwadre. He gives the sign to Sun God, Vivashwan, then Manu, then Ishwadre comes in disciplic succession. So actually the spiritual knowledge should come in disciplic succession. We cannot, if somebody is saying I'm giving the knowledge of Gita, but unless he is linked to the Parampara, it does not, the electricity without the proper medium, it does not pass. Similarly, even the spiritual knowledge does not pass through unless it comes in the proper disciplic succession. That's very, very important. And actually we come in a parampara called Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. And Narada Muni, as they worship deities in accordance with the directions given, Narada Pancharatra. Okay. Then Narada Muni is causeless mercy upon living entities. And you see here that you can see a picture of a hunter. This hunter is very, very special. He has the capacity to hunt animals half killed. He will not kill them fully. What is the, I mean, he enjoys when they suffer. And then Narada Muni came across to him and then said, what you're doing, but you will have to suffer to the extent of the hairs on the body of these animals that you're killing. If you're killing a rabbit and it has millions of hair, you have to take a birth million lifetimes for having killed one rat. So why are you doing this? And then he's telling, well, can your family members share this? He goes and checks. They say, no, we cannot share. You are responsible to maintain. Then he was given transcendental knowledge. And then he was asked to sit in the bank of the holy river along with his family, chant the names of God, circumambulate Tulsi, and then your life will be successful. And he was asking, how will I get my food? He said, don't worry. When you take shelter of the Lord's holy names, everything will be provided to you. That's the faith you should have. So this hunter gave up all his nasty dress and cleaned up himself, cleaned all his hair, cleared all his hair, had his haircut, and then went to the, whatever he said, he just followed, chanted the holy name. And then people in around the village, they were all amazed that he was such a cruel hunter, has become such a saint now. And then, and this is the picture that you see, he became such a saint here that he was not even offering obeisances to his guru during his next visit. Narada, when he came next time, he was not offering pranams. Whenever you see a guru, you should offer pranams. Why he was not offering pranam? He saw some insects and ants on the floor. He thought that if I offer my obeisances, they will die. The person who was off killing and enjoying the animal is not even unconsciously even want to cause a suffering to an ant. That is the power. And how does it come? This power is coming from the association of Narada Muni. In today's world, we have the representatives of Narada Muni from Prahalad Prabhupada and his followers. So when we have the association, we get such amazing knowledge and qualities. And we should constantly chant the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then we know that he also became, here we see a pregnant woman who is none other than the mother of Prahalad. When Hiranyakashipu went to do tapasya, all the devas were afraid. So they wanted to kill all the demons. But Narada said, this Kayadu has got a wonderful child in the womb who will be a great devotee in the future, and that is none other than Prahalad. And Narada Muni, when Prahalad was in the womb, was giving instructions of Bhagavatham, and Prahalad heard the entire Bhagavatham. That is why as soon as he came out, when he had an encounter with his father, he was quoting that my Lord is Lord, my ultimate father is Lord Hari, and everyone is meant to serve Lord Hari. Yeah. So your duty, my dear father, he was asking, the father was asking, how are you getting so much power? I am not able to kill you. He said, wherever you are getting your power, I am getting the power from the same source, which is Lord Hari. And then we all know the story. The Prahlad is such a great devotee, even in his school, although it is all demons, he was preaching Srimad Bhagavatham to all his schoolmates, and that is one thing. And on the right side here, we see a picture which is Nalakura and Manigriva, who were the sons of Kubera, but they were intoxicated. They got into illicit activities and also becoming naked. Narada, by his mercy, it's only a mercy, but it came in the form of a curse. But they were made as trees to remember their activity, because who will be naked? Only the trees are naked. So if anyone is becoming naked, they will get the form of a tree. That's what the story illustrates. So it is so common these days that people are reducing their dress size, unfortunately. So the point is that here Nalakura and Manigriva, not only they were cursed to become a tree, during their appearance as a tree, they will be able to remember Krishna. They will be able to remember about they being the Nalakura and Manigriva, the sons of Kubera, And then when Krishna makes his appearance in that area, he will deliver them. And he delivered them. And that is the month we are celebrating as Damodar month, which is very, very special. The next picture that we saw is Dhruva. Dhruva is also a disciple of Narada. And as directed by Narada, he went to the forest 6 months. He was just meditating on the Lord in the Madhuvan forest, and he was chanting, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So then in the 6 months, he was able to have darshan of the Lord, and that's the power. So these are the glories of Narada Muni. His becoming devotee, he made whomever he encountered, like so many stories, like we saw Prahlad, we saw Dhruva, we saw Nalakura, Manigriva, whomever he encounters, he makes them a devotee. So the process of devotion service, hearing, chanting, coming in association with the pure devotees, is compared to a fire, the fire of devotion service. If you put an iron rod in the fire, there will be no difference over a period of time whether it's an iron rod or it's a fire itself. It doesn't act as a rod, it acts as a fire. Similarly, when we act in the fire of Krishna consciousness, we will also become pure devotees, and by the process of pure devotion, we will also go back to Krishna at the end of this very lifetime. So we thank each and every one of you for being part of this program. This is the most wonderful Damodar month, and any activity by hearing or chanting or reading spiritual literatures, we get 1,000 times benefit by doing that. We request all of you to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And just by chanting this, and also if you have Bhagavad Gita as it is, if you don't have, you can connect with this number 97907 79238. Either Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatham by Srila Prabhupada, it will all be home delivered. So it is so important. Having these books are not different from having the Lord himself. Just by doing that, we will progressively advance in our spiritual consciousness. And by the mercy of Narada Muni, the lessons that we are learning, we will also go back to Godhead. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.